Dr. Christopher Mullen to orthopedics.
This is Dr. Ramsey. You paged me?
Hello, darling. I do hope you've come to your senses.
I told you I'm not planting drugs in some orderly's car.
Then you better figure out some other way to come back in and see me, because my baby is due in a week.
Well, I think you need to make it worth my while. I want all the DL56 patent proceeds signed over to me. And then I'll do what I can about getting you and your baby out of Ferncliff.
What happened to our 50-50 split?
Gee, you know, that's just not enough for me to risk going to jail, my medical career, my good community standing.
This kind of wealth doesn't come easy, Chris. You have to risk a lot to gain a lot.
You heard my terms. All the patent proceeds, or you and baby Julie are on your own.
You hear that? Silence. No tea kettles whistling and no accordions.
No Victor. You know, I actually miss him. I really do. But then I picture his face at the altar.
Seeing him so thrilled was about the best part of the day, wasn't it? It is going to be an awful lot quieter around here, though.
What do you mean? You still have me?
How could I forget? I get to spend every night alone with you, yelling at me. I knew there was a plus side.
Hey, listen, don't tease me, okay? I have a feeling I'm going to be sharing you a lot with your mistress. Your new book.
Oh.
Yeah. What time did you get to bed last night?
About 4 a.m. I couldn't stop writing. Actually, I'd like to spend all day today on it, but I have that meeting with Julie.
Oh, right. Hey, say hi to the pillow for me, will you?
I'll give it your regards.
Please do. Anything that keeps Julie from axe murdering people is okay in my book.
Actually, the idea is to try and get her well enough so she doesn't need a fake pregnancy to comfort her.
Do you think she's ready to give it up yet?
No, I don't. She's too fragile. She knows there's no baby, but taking away the fantasy could actually inflict the pain of losing an actual child. Having been through that in my life, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Neither would I.
Well, if it isn't the Little Mermaid.
Oh, gosh, you are so funny. Ha
You know, I have to ask, when Karen pushed you into that fountain, was that a half gainer or a double somersault you did into the fountain?
Waiter, I would like a cup of coffee.
Oh, you know, I bet you had trouble sleeping last night. Your little brain was probably doing backflips trying to figure out how to get even with Karen.
That brat embarrassed me in front of half the town potential clients. Payback is coming.
Well, before you run off and cellophane her toilet seat, why don't you give me an update on the Chris front?
Well, you know, I don't have all the details. But Eve's big secret is she wants to have a baby.
Eve has a kid?
Yeah. And I think Chris is the only person she's told. She swore to secrecy, so if we make sure that information gets out...
Chris will get blamed for it and lose the only person he gives a damn about. Now, that is a plan.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
Frank, you can't just go blabbing that kind of news around town. You have to leak it to someone who would make sure it got back to Eve.
How about the person who outed Eve as a call girl?
And even managed to get that news in the paper. I've always wanted to get to know Lizzie Co better. Hey, why do I even bother with that ridiculous Catherine Bell?
Is that a trick question, Lucy?
We know what she's doing once again. That blonde ninny is trying to take over the nurses' ball. She wants to MC it. That's my job. For 4 years, I have MC'd the ball. It's a tradition. Can't you respect that?
Who's got the final say?
Well, Jerry Jacks. You know, Jacks is my very good friend. So I just pressured Jacks to pressure Jerry to keep me in, and I'm the MC. And you know what? Those guys are both Australian. You know what I do? I am going to send them Vegemite. They love Vegemite, right? I'm going to send them a whole case of the stuff.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Why would Jerry bump you? My beautiful fiancé. He'd be out of his mind.
Say it again. Say fiancé, fiancé, fiancé. I love that word. I wish you knew how much fun I had showing Catherine my great big rock. I got to flash it right in Kathy's great big fat face.
Oh, so you're a flasher, huh?
Yeah. You know, the look on her face was almost as good as the look when I interrupted your wedding. And you know I saved you from a fate worse than death.
Now I can marry you. And I'd like to get that right on the fast track.
Yeah, me too. I do not want anything to stop me from being Lucy Baldwin.
Now, what can I get you? 2 glasses of warm spit?
She gives 2 specials. Now go.
Well, I would, but my good buddy Eve here looks like something's wrong.
Nothing for you to be concerned about.
Well, technically speaking, since my mother is now married to Victor, Kevin is my stepbrother. And I feel compelled to offer my brother's girlfriend a shoulder to cry on.
How thoughtful. I'll return the favor anytime you want to cry on my shoulder about being a fry cook instead of being a paramedic.
2 glasses of warm spit coming up.
Yeah. Don't forget the body parts, creep.
Ignore that idiot. No. What's wrong?
All right. I know you removed the notes from my chart, but I just want to make sure you got rid of all the data about my having a baby.
Yeah, it was important to you, so I was thorough. I even removed it from Dr. Newman's patient files.
Chris, you could lose your hospital privileges for that.
Some things are worth the risk.
You know, I don't have too many friends who would jeopardize themselves without asking any questions. Thanks a lot, Chris.
No one will ever know you ever had a child.
You know, why Neil is so excited about you and Scott, I really couldn't say, but he made me promise to give that to you as soon as possible.
Oh, that really is very, very, very sweet of him. You know, Serena actually has been pushing me and Scott to get married for quite some time now, and Neil is her little co-conspirator, I guess.
Oh, yeah, well, nobody ever said kids are subtle. Actually, Neil's always pushing me to remarry, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you and Joe were certainly very, very cozy walking down that aisle at the wedding.
Oh, well, Joe and I are just friends.
Really? Is that why Karen just shoved you into that pond like that?
Karen, has been under a lot of stress lately, and I think she needed to vent. I really didn't like being her target, but it's pretty understandable.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been seeing Chris Ramsey.
You know, I do think Neil said something about that.
Yeah, I really thought we were headed down a good road somewhere, but it, looks pretty doubtful now.
Oh, no. So you're having some problems, huh?
Yeah, it seems Chris's best friend doesn't think I'm good enough for him.
That would be Eve. So Eve actually said that to you?
Not in so many words, but that's how she feels. I tried to befriend her, but she just wasn't interested. She even tried to get Chris to keep secrets from me.
Really? Wow. What kind of secrets?
Oh, you know, just lame stuff that Eve's blown way out of proportion, like anybody cares. Okay, for example, she had this baby, right? I mean, really, who cares? But that's Eve's ego for you. Come on, what's the big secret in that?
You haven't given up the pillow.
I have tried, but I feel so lonely without it.
You don't have to rush anything.
But the sooner I give it up, the sooner I can prove to my doctor and you that I am competent to stand trial and I can get out of here.
Maybe we should focus on getting you well, and then we'll see what happens.
I know it's a long shot that I'll be acquitted at a trial, but it is the only chance I have for a normal existence.
Julie, I understand you're wanting your life back. But first, I think we should concentrate on building a meaningful existence here.
It's hard for you to picture me back in the outside world, isn't it, Kevin?
I just don't want you to get disappointed if things don't work out.
Stranger things have happened.
Well, hey, Audrey. Look at you. All the guests are in order for Gail's surprise anniversary party?
I'll be at the grill early on Friday to meet everyone.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Audrey. Hey, you're looking well.
Oh.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm feeling even better. Excuse me.
See you later. What's going on?
I've been trying to come up with something to explain the connection between Bordiso and your mother.
What'd you come up with?
Well, there's this box of Meg's mementos I've been saving for you. It's, pictures you drew when you were a kid, jewelry, that sort of thing.
Well, is there anything in there? A Bordizo or anything?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to meet with you. These pictures were taken in Algeria while Meg was there.
Did anybody in these pictures look familiar to you?
Well, I didn't know your mother back then. It may be of no help at all.
Yeah, well, it's worth a shot here because he came after me for a reason, and I intend to find out what that reason is.
Julie, I can't help but feel that there's some other agenda that you're keeping from me.
Like what?
You tell me. Do you want out of here badly enough that you try to escape?
I'd be lying to you if I said the thought hadn't occurred to me. It's probably occurred to everyone in here at one point or another, but I know it would never work.
Why's that?
Time is up, Dr. Collins.
Thank you for coming, Kevin. I find our sessions riveting. I mean that.
I find them interesting, too.
How are you doing with her?
Something's bothering me. I think she's thinking about escape.
Thank you.
There you go.
You know, I really shouldn't complain about Eve. Chris is a catch. I mean, if the roles were reversed, I'd probably want them all to myself, too. Even if I was with somebody else.
Yeah, probably. But, you know, I feel that just doesn't excuse her from asking him not to tell the woman in his life any secrets like that.
Yeah. Well, luckily, he doesn't listen to everything she says. He told me about the baby, right?
Yeah, right. Why would he do that?
I don't know. To prove he trusts me, I guess.
Maybe so. He didn't happen to say when this happened, when she had the baby, huh?
No, or what happened to the child. You know, maybe this wasn't a good idea. It's really no business of mine what Eve does or did, as long as she just stops messing with my life. I probably shouldn't have said anything to you. I know you guys aren't exactly best friends or anything.
Oh, no, really. It's okay. What we've discussed will not leave this room.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Here you go. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Chris, aren't you the one with all that Lance Pharmaceutical money?
It's a shame I only have enough to pay the bill, Frank. Guess you don't get a tip.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt. With you about to become the proud papa of a bouncing baby pillow and all.
Yeah, well, haven't you been spending a lot of time with Julie? Now, if this pillow comes out with a forked tongue and a tail, we'll know who the real daddy is.
Well, it's a good thing it's only a pillow, huh, Frank? I mean, can you imagine our favorite fry cook spawning a child with a mass murderer?
Hate to disappoint you, but that ain't gonna happen.
Dr. Glickman to orthopedics. Dr. Scott.
We strike out?
I just don't recognize Bordizo in any of these pictures.
Well, I wish I could give you more facts about your mother.
No. Don't worry about it. You've been a big help.
The truth is that I think of you as my own. I just haven't given a lot of thought to the background of your biological parents, that's all.
I'm glad that you think of me as your own.
I think it was my duty to keep the memory of your parents alive.
You've accomplished that.
Not to my satisfaction. The more I became attached to you, the less important it was to honor that duty.
Well, you know, I have memories of when I was a little boy. I remember my parents were very affectionate. They were loving. I mean, that's all a kid could ask for. And if I don't know all the other facts, as they say, them are the breaks.
Well, Megan Lloyd Bentley gave you your life. You must be curious about it.
Well, sure. You and Gail raised me. You taught me what was right and what was wrong. And a lot of teaching about what was right, because I did a lot of wrong, and you were always there. And in saying that, I would like a raise in my allowance, Dad.
Well, as I always said, I'll think about it.
Dr. Adams to cardiology. Dr. Monique Adams to cardiology.
Call for you, Dr. Ramsey. Line 4.
Dr. Ramsey,
I want to discuss your cut.
there is no cut. You give me all the patent proceeds, or you and the baby can stay right where you are.
That's unacceptable.
I guess this discussion is over.
Drop the nonchalant act, Chris. I know it's not easy for you to walk away from this kind of deal.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Remember the night you had me over for dinner when we were first getting to know each other?
If you're trying to appeal to my softer side, it's not gonna work. You see, I don't have one.
You were sweet and charming that night. Because you loved the idea of a con man's son being with the daughter of a famous, filthy rich surgeon.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago.
You want to be part of that kind of wealth. You've waited your whole life for the opportunity. Don't let it get away from you now.
All right, fine. 85-15 split. You and the baby can survive on that.
60-40. Don't push your luck with me.
No deal. Why don't you give me a call if you ever get out on your own?
Sweetie. I'll figure something out. You are going to be born someplace beautiful. Yeah. Mommy will make sure of that.
Hail the conquering heroine.
Glad to hear your day was better than mine. Chris and Eve were here.
And?
He is very protective of her. You know, I used to give Ramsey a hard time about having a thing for Eve, but it's more than that.
Good. Then turning her against him's the way to go.
Ramsey is going to learn what it feels like to lose something you love.
So what did they do when they were here, huh?
They ate. Yeah, and they whispered a lot. My guess is that Eve wants to make sure her tracks are covered.
Well, they weren't.
Did Lucy eat it up?
With a big old spoon. I bet you she couldn't wait for me to leave so she could just go and tell somebody about this baby.
What are you doing here?
I live here?
No. I didn't hear you pull up. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready.
What? Not ready for...
I thought this would make you feel more at home. Like the good old...
Well, you know, sometimes the good old days are best left in the past where they belong. Just put that there. Thanks for the thought. What's that smell?
A gourmet meal courtesy of the frozen food section.
Really? Someone's been busy.
Yeah. Well, ever since I left Chris at lunch today, I have been busy preparing for my free night with you. Now, let me start with the classics. Let me take your jacket. And how was your day, honey?
Oh, we were doing so well. I was having such a good time.
Oh, your meeting with Julie went that badly?
Not bad.
Actually, I don't know what it is. She's clever. And with most people, the trick is finding out what the truth is and what she's hiding.
Well, there you are. Where have you been? In fact, I am calling you right now. Answer your phone.
My
Never mind.
phone ran out of juice. How many mocha cafe lattes have you had, Lucy?
I had quite a few. Just 2. I don't know. The point is I need to tell you something. I know what Eve has been hiding from us. Eve had David Bordisso's baby.
Tomorrow on Good Morning America, join Diane Sawyer and Charles Gibson for news that hits home. Come see why the best mornings are now on ABC. Tomorrow on Good Morning America.